If you're a business owner, you don't need us to tell you running a business is tough. Don't let QuickBooks and spreadsheets slow you down anymore. Now is the time to upgrade to NetSuite by Oracle, the world's #1 cloud business system. NetSuite gives you the visibility and control over your financials, HR, inventory, e-commerce, and more. Join the over 21,000 companies using NetSuite right now. Schedule your free product tour right now at netsuite.com/C-suite. netsuite.com/C-suite.
Welcome back to the Superhero Homies podcast. My name is Quentin, and as always, I'm here with the homie Kevin.
Hey, how's everybody doing this good evening? Hopefully, all of you guys and girls alike are doing quite well. Yeah, how you doing tonight, man?
I'm doing good. I'm doing all right, I guess.
Yeah.
So Kevin and I, we just finished playing the game called A Way Out.
Oh my gosh, that was so heart-wrenching.
Yeah. Kevin's a backstabbing bastard.
No, damn it.
That's all
okay.
I have to say.
No.
Yeah. If you don't know what we're talking about, then
the game made me.
Then just do a quick Google search of A Way Out. Really fun game, but Kevin's a bastard. That's all.
No, damn it. No, don't do this to me on air.
Yeah. So
I didn't want it to end like this.
So anyway, guys, we're the superhero homies, but I'm sure you know that.
Yeah, hopefully so by now.
For those of you who are listening for the first time, I mean, in typical, we talk about superhero-related stuff in some way, shape, form, or capacity.
Yep. We also joke around quite a lot, so don't get us wrong.
Yeah. So, if and when we get off topic or subject, then,
Expect it.
Expect it, and just know that it does come to an end.
Yeah, it does. We always come back around to good thoughts.
Yeah. But tonight, I'm sure you guys are wondering what the hell we're talking about tonight. It is an interesting topic. As a matter of fact, we probably should have discussed the best way to word it.
We'll have to think of that on the spot.
Yeah.
But essentially, guys, so hopefully by now, some of you out there have heard about how certain movie stars will do these short little segments, and they can make short videos about them, whereas they answer Google questions about themselves, their products, their movies, etc. And we decided that would be super fun for us to do. Not that we're famous enough to have our names typed into Google and get anything fun to use, but more so questions based off of the Marvel and DC universes. Because, let's face it, some of our friends out there aren't quite as knowledgeable as all of us about these things, and they have the most ridiculous questions sometimes. Am I right?
Yes, you are. I was just going to use this more as a tool to make up shit. Because all the homies out there listening, you guys, I think that most of you guys have a really strong knowledge, probably stronger than me, than a lot of this shit that we talk about. So of course you guys are gonna know the answer to a lot of these. Mm-hmm. But yeah, this is really just something just a kind of a cool down segment before we get into really heavy stuff.
It is more kickback, and admittedly, it's going to be on the spot. So some of this is probably just going to be a lot more hilariousness than
right. Yep. So essentially, we're asking open-ended questions to Google about superheroes, Marvel, DC, and we're going to see what kind of ridiculous questions they come up with, and then we will see what the hell kind of answers we have for Google.
Yeah.
But of course, before we get into this off-the-wall topic for tonight, we got some comic news.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So the first thing here that I want to talk about is Stan Lee. I actually have 3 separate news items pertaining to Stan Lee.
Is one of them about Stan and Kevin? No? Okay. I'll tell you about that one later then.
No, I mean, I've heard about that one.
Oh, you did? It fizzled out?
I mean, I don't know why it was a news thing.
Okay, thank goodness. Okay.
But yeah, anyways, so I have 3 different things pertaining to Stan Lee, so I'm just going to condense them all to one talking point here. Just because they're all kind of related, in some shape or capacity. So starting off here, the very first thing about Stan Lee that I have, which I think I took this on the 10th, so whenever the 10th was, Monday?
Actually, it should be
Tuesday.
less than the 10th was Tuesday.
Yeah. So the first thing I had was Stan Lee is reportedly a victim of elder abuse, which is quite tragic and sad. And this came about in the midst of his wife passing away last year. Of course, took a real heavy blow to Stan. And after that, there's been a lot of bizarre, strange, and sad string of incidents that have been happening to Stan. But in this latest thing, it comes down to something about his daughter, and then there was an incident with the friends of the daughter and how they were basically extorting him for money. Taking money from him. There was an incident a few weeks ago about someone stealing some of Stan's blood. That was an actual thing that happened. There's just been a lot of weird and unfortunate incidents of thievery and of abuse, both like verbal abuse to Stan and just taking advantage of him. And I do have a link here, so if you guys are interested, I'll post it. It's quite the lengthy thing, so didn't get all the way into it, but long story short here, Stan Lee's like 95 years old, and I think he's worth anywhere from $30 to $50 million. The guy has a lot of money and not a lot of time left on Earth. And so it just seems like this is an instance where, maybe people around him now don't have his best interest at heart and are maybe trying to take advantage of him, unfortunately. It goes on the 12th. I got another news article on Stan Lee, which was Thursday. Stan Lee denies reports of elderly abuse, and he makes a video threatening to sue. Threatening to sue those who says that he was being or that he's a victim of elderly abuse. Now, to a lot of people, this sounds like a case where the victim is afraid to speak out.
I suppose so, yeah. But what are you about to say?
Yeah, well, that was pretty much that. Like, because it really seems like Stan is he's in a bad way, regardless how you look at it. Right. Because there's so many contradicting reports now, saying that he is a victim or he isn't a victim. But if Stan himself is saying that he's not a victim of elder abuse, then I mean that kind of shuts it down. Unless he's being coerced to say that by
Hopefully
someone
he's
else.
Not. Yeah. I was hoping that there would be more evidence, but I suppose there isn't at this time.
And then on the 13th, so Friday, the last bit of Stan Lee news is Stan Lee is suing his ex-manager for stealing millions of dollars from him.
I have heard about this.
Yep. So there was this incident maybe, I don't know, a month or so ago where some money, about $1 million or so, went missing from Stan Lee, and no one really knew where it went to. But now apparently his ex-manager has been like embezzling and stealing a shitload of money, like funneling it into this charity account that doesn't exist, making withdrawals like $820,000 for an apartment somewhere that he said he was going to use for legal or business purposes, with no kind of receipts or paperwork to really show. There's just been like a lot of thievery going on from this guy, and so Stan Lee is thankfully suing this guy, and hopefully, he can win this thing so he can get his money back from the dirtbag manager.
Well, in that case, justice needs to be served, in my opinion, too. He will hopefully win the court trial. I believe he could probably afford the best daggum lawyers out there.
Yeah, but, Stan Lee, where you think he's a thief, or where you think he's burying his talent, like Jack the King Kirby or some of his other writers or artists, regardless of all that, you gotta admit that Stan is the pioneer for modern day superheroes and comic books, and that without Stan the Man, then we wouldn't have a lot of the mainstream comics that we have now. We wouldn't have a lot of the superheroes that we have now.
That's true. And we wouldn't have cool cameos anymore.
Yeah. So it's just unfortunate that in Stan's golden years, that he's physically ill and frail, but he's also got to be under a lot of mental stress as well. So here's to Stan Lee, and hopefully he can pull through and and enjoy his last however many years he has left.
Enjoy these golden years.
Right.
Yeah.
Which why are they called the golden years? That's like the most bullshit ass name for them. Like, let's be honest, your golden years like in your 20s and 30s. Let's be honest, people. Those are the golden years.
It should be.
I mean, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
Like your 20s and your 30s are the years where like you really should appreciate and love like your physical body the most, because that's when most people are the most physically capable and able,
right.
and you can pretty much do whatever you want to do. However, in this day and age, if you're in your 20s and 30s, you're probably also in crippling debt.
Yep.
Go to a bullshit ass job you don't like.
Right.
And you probably listen to the Superhero Homies for relief.
Oh, yeah. That's your average 20, 30-year-old.
Sure, why not? Anyways, yeah. I was just curious as to why they call it the golden years.
I don't know yet. Man, that's...
There's even the Golden Girls. Remember that TV show about all the old women?
Oh, gosh, yeah. My mom really likes that show now.
Yeah.
It's like, dang it, Mom, no, you can't do that. That's a bad sign. Anyways.
Yeah. Well, moving on to something, a little bit more happier.
Yeah, let's do that.
The Rock teases a 2019 production date for the Black Adam movie. So here,
Okay.
Yeah. So this thing is finally moving forward. Of course, The Rock was cast as Black Adam, I think, like back in 2017.
Yeah.
Maybe even earlier.
Totally makes sense.
Oh yeah. And but yeah, it's great now that the production for this movie or that the movie's finally getting a production date, presumably sometime in 2019. So we're probably looking at a 2020 release date on this.
Okay.
So hell yeah. I look forward to seeing this. I look forward to seeing what The Rock can do in a superhero or super character type role.
Right. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I think it'd be interesting for a couple of reasons. One, because The Rock obviously physically fits the bill for a lot of and also
for superhero types.
And also I think it'd be really fun and interesting to see The Rock not necessarily being a good guy, taking that badass persona and doing maybe some morally questionable things. Black Adam is not necessarily a quote unquote good guy,
right?
For sure he is not. So I think it'll give The Rock a good opportunity to really show
some different range.
Not only his physical stature, but also his acting chops and seeing if he can really sink his teeth into a role like Black Adam. Yep.
Now I think, help back me up here if you've heard of it too, that they were going to make a separate Black Adam movie and then a separate a separate.
Talking about Shazam?
I think so. That's the only name that comes to mind. Like a separate Shazam movie. Like they're not going to be in the same movie at first, and then eventually they're going to have a third movie where they're both actually involved in the same plot. I
don't know anything about a third movie, but we've seen pictures of Zachary Levi on set, and I forget the kid's name that's playing the Billy Batson, but we've seen set photos of those guys on set. That movie is going to be out sometime next year. It has a release date, but I forget when.
So we have 2 DC movies then for 2019.
Wonder Woman 2 and Shazam. Yeah.
Potentially Black Adam too, though.
No, that's going to production next year.
Damn production word.
Yep.
Words.
Yeah, and okay. I'm not sure when Flashpoint comes out or when the Flash movie comes out. That may be, I think that's going to be 2020 as well.
We need a DC picture like they do for Marvel all the time.
Well, the problem with
all the movies,
the problem with that is that those movies are getting shifted around too.
True.
Yeah, but
too many of these movies. Yeah.
Cool. Moving on, the Fox Disney deal is likely to be finalized by summer of 2019. Okay. This is kind of what we were projecting, but now it's all but been confirmed that the deal is going to finally close next summer.
So, in other words, in like 15 months, basically.
Yeah.
Give or take. Mm-hmm. That's daggum.
Because
that's a news article. Hey guys, this deal is going to finalize. ... in more than a year. We'll keep you posted.
And I can only imagine the kind of red tape that they have to endure, you know?
Oh, yeah, no. I wouldn't want to be behind that political savvy. Hell no.
Right. That many billions of dollars on the table, that many properties on the table, you know, just all the lawyers and all the bullshit that you would have to go through. I couldn't even imagine, man. Like, keeping up with all of that would be a nightmare. Like, don't be surprised at all, guys, if it gets delayed just because there's so much there to do.
So many details to go into, like which properties, which villain properties. Just, oh my gosh.
I mean, even the non-superhero entities that are being traded, you know?
Oh, yeah.
Like, there's a lot of stuff that's being sold to Disney. So, yeah. And next and last up for the superhero news this week, Jessica Jones has been renewed for season 3.
Hell yeah. Good to know.
Yeah. Jessica Jones season 2, I believe, was also pretty well received. If you haven't listened to our review of Jessica Jones season 2, you can definitely do that.
Yep.
We split it up into a 2-parter. So yeah, definitely check that out to get our full take and review on Jessica Jones season 2. Ultimately, we said that it was a really good season overall. We didn't enjoy it quite as much as season 1.
Right.
But we appreciated the balls that this show took with the decisions that they made.
Yeah. Plus, kind of just some of the fun directions they took. But go see for yourself. Yeah. All right. And that's the last bit of news, my friend?
That's the last bit of news.
All right.
Oh, yeah.
Is it that time?
It's that time.
Is it that time already? All right.
All right, Kevin.
What's up? What's up, Q?
Your comic question of the week. You ready for this? It's rhetorical. Hell yeah, you are.
Okay. You didn't even give me a chance to pause. All right. Yeah, let's do this shit.
All right.
As your AC comes on, yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
So the question is, which movie villain said the following quote? There are no heroes or villains. There's just what I want and how I'll get it. Was this A, Magneto from Days of Future Past? Was this B, Dr. Doom from Fantastic Four: Rise of Silver Surfer? Was this C, the Red Skull from Captain America: The First Avenger? Was it D, Ozymandias from Watchmen? Or was it E, Ra's al Ghul from Batman Begins?
Because of the personas of the different villains there, luckily you chose a very wide range of villain mindsets. My money is on either the Red Skull or your second option. What was that second option? Remind me of that.
Dr. Doom from Fantastic Four 2.
In fact, that's what we're going to go with. Boom. Dr. Doom, final answer.
That is incorrect.
Of course. It's not even surprising anymore, really. What was the correct one? Was it at least Red Skull?
It was Magneto from Days of Future Past.
You son of a dick. No.
Yes.
Michael Fassbender didn't say that shit.
Yep, the quote was, there are no heroes or villains, just what I want and how I'll get it. If you go back and watch Days of Future Past, which I still proclaim is the best X-Men movie, if you go back and watch that, then you will see that quote from him. Yep.
Dadgummit. Alright.
Yep. Well, there's always next week.
You always say that, dadgummit.
Well, I usually say I got a good feeling this week, Kevin. I think you're going to get it this week.
You typically do, and then I don't. Like, I can literally count on one hand how many I've had correct.
Well,
I hope no one else is keeping track out there.
Sorry, guys. Had to have a brief intermission.
Yep.
Sometimes these things happen.
A 1/4 intermission.
Yeah.
A quarterly mission.
Sure.
Anyways, but we're back now.
Yep.
Where did we leave off?
We left off with starting the podcast.
Hell yeah, let's do that.
Yeah.
Hi guys. Alright, so I went ahead and typed in some preemptive questions. Some of them are based off of course, the big upcoming movie of the year being Infinity War. And then we wanted to branch out and just kind of hit up a few other random subjects, kind of see what people are thinking, see what comes up randomly. First one I typed in, why do the Avengers? And get ready for the top listers here. And we can talk about these in any order or whatever fashion, whatever suits the fancy.
You got the questions.
All right. First one, why do the Avengers battle the Defenders? Yeah.
I've read a lot of crossover events. I've read Avengers versus X-Men. I've read Dark Avengers versus X-Men,
which was also good. I read that one too.
Oh, well.
Yeah.
But I don't recall reading the Defenders versus the Avengers. Sometimes I wonder, who's typing in these questions?
Well, that's the thing. A lot of these people aren't necessarily the biggest fans. So,
but to ask that question implies that they have a knowledge that the Avengers and Defenders have done battle.
Okay, this is me going in between the panels, as much as we do this here. Okay, so in between these panels, you have this guy, right? This one dude, and he loves the movies, and he got Netflix, and then he loves the Netflix series, and so somehow in between his fandom of both of these separate but similar universes, okay, he said in his mind somewhere that the Avengers and Defenders actually battle somewhere. Well, to hopefully answer that question out there for that person, to our knowledge, they do not battle. So
to my knowledge, the Avengers and the Defenders have never battled. Who knows? Maybe he's referring to something that happened in the comics. And once again, I'm not familiar if they did battle in the comics.
Yeah.
Just because both teams are just revolving door membership. So who knows?
Yeah. But I will say this though. This is as much of a conversation as it is something fun for us to do. So if you guys have the answer, feel free to comment or email to us, Facebook page or personal email address, whatever, So there you have it.
Yep.
Next one. Why do the Avengers have a civil war?
Wow.
That could be a little bit better.
Yeah, that's a much better question. Oh, yeah. So there's
depends on which universe you look at.
It depends if you're looking at the movies or the comics.
Right.
But yeah, either way, it's a good question. So, from the movie standpoint, the reason why there's a civil war is because, and they actually did a really good job leading up to this. It was because of all the events from the two previous Avengers movie, and also the events of the Captain America Winter Soldier movie. All the destruction, all the collateral damage, and all the people that were killed in these incidents with the Chitauri invading, with the helicarriers crashing, and with Ultron and Sokovia. And then to top it all off, in Civil War, there was an incident in... where were they? When Scarlet Witch blew up?
Romania. That's not the answer. I made that up.
Yeah, that was not. It was.
In other words, I have no idea. I don't. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't recall exactly where they were at,
but I do have a computer in front of me.
Yeah.
Okay, so.
Where were they? They definitely were not in Sokovia.
No. Let's find out. Give me a second here. Okay. 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 Lagos.
Okay.
Lagos. That doesn't sound like the full answer either. I don't know. But either way, please continue. I'll keep looking it up.
No, I mean that may well have been it. But yeah, to top it all off though, for these incidents, Scarlet Witch accidentally releasing a capsulized bomb in a building that not Red Skull, but Crossbone set off. Yeah. But yeah, all these incidents combined caused all the governing nations of the world, or most of them, like 136 nations, I think, to come together and sign something called the Sokovia Accords. And the Sokovia Accords is basically the same thing as the Superhero Registration Act in the comics, which dictates that all superheroes have to be government officials and appointed, and then they'll be told what incidents to go to, when to report. Now in the comics, what made the Superhero Registration Act a little bit more, I guess a little bit better, was that, you know, they get paid. It'd be like an actual job. But still, there are people that didn't go for it and people that did go for it. And so basically in the movies, they fight because Cap doesn't like the idea of the Sokovia Accords. He thinks that, you know, especially after the events of Winter Soldier, he doesn't trust the government. He doesn't trust big bureauship because he sees now that there's always some kind of corruption, and he doesn't want that to repeat. If that same corruption, you know, is the force that's leading the Avengers, then of course that's a big no-no. True. Yeah. So Cap is against it. Iron Man, you know, being the more logical or science based of the two, is he's
more
for.
Yeah. Even in the comics, it was the same way.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. There are some stark differences, though, of course, from the comics and the movies. And if you guys listen to our Civil War podcast, you can definitely hear us rant about that for quite some time.
There you go.
But to make it brief, though, the main differences between the comics and the movies are really the ending is a big difference. In the ending of the movie, Iron Man and Captain America, they fight because of Tony's personal vendetta and his recent hatred of Winter Soldier upon finding out that Winter Soldier killed his parents. It does not become about the people that died in Sokovia or the people that died in New York or the helicarriers that crashed. It becomes all about Tony Stark,
right.
Which for me was ultimately a downfall of the movie.
Oh yeah.
In the comics, the ending result is just this really big battle between the two sides, which there is a big battle in the airport scene, but
True.
That's not the concluding battle.
So here's a question, actually, real quick. Let's go ahead and divert that into some present energy.
Oh yeah.
What do you think that's going to mean for our boy Tony whenever he and the Winter Soldier inevitably see each other again in this upcoming movie?
I don't know.
Yeah, that could be something interesting to witness. Yeah, just a mental thought.
Yeah,
just a little bubble.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, that could be something good. But yeah, I don't know, because there was some careful editing in the trailers. We never see Bucky and Tony on the screen together.
And who knows? We might, in a sense, not.
There's a good chance that we won't.
Yeah. All right. So, here's another fun one. Why do the Avengers fight the Justice League?
My only guess is that they're talking about the amalgam.
Yeah, that's what I thought too. The amalgam, yeah.
Yeah. So the story for the amalgam was super weak. Like, no one read the amalgam comic for the storyline. It was all about the fights. But in the amalgam comic, it was kind of funny because basically they were like these two, like, all-knowing, all-powerful beings that stood next to each other, and I think they were like twins or brothers. And then one day they happened to look over and notice that the other existed.
Yeah.
And then that caused the universes to merge, and and then the Avengers and the Justice League or the Marvel and DC had to fight each other,
right? And
the victor would be like this surviving universe.
You know, admittedly, that was a really interesting what if comic. I think it was like Robin and Jubilee had a thing.
Yeah. Well, they started off fighting each other, but then they became a romantic relationship.
The fight just became too passionate. Whatever. But
and I think that a lot of these fights, I could be wrong, but I think these fights were actually decided by fan votes.
Really?
I could be wrong on that.
Okay.
Yeah. But I believe that was a possibility, which would explain some of the weird choices.
Right,
because a lot of these things were almost like popularity choices. Like there was
like a Wolverine and Lobo fought, which is like, what the hell?
Yeah. I mean, because I gotta be honest, guys, Lobo would have destroyed Wolverine, and this is even Bone Claw Wolverine. Like, there's no way. Lobo is literally like immortal. How the hell do you kill with your bone claws.
That actually that does kind of testify to the whole fans voting thing. Yeah, because Lobo, to my knowledge, does not have a huge following. But
he has a huge following.
He does.
He has a huge following. Yeah.
But compared to Wolverines, though,
right? Yeah. And I don't know what his following was like in the '90s.
Good point.
There was also Storm versus Wonder Woman, which Wonder Woman, to my knowledge, is like immune to lightning. So actually, I don't think that Storm wins that.
I do also remember reading that the bracers she wears in the movies, they're just bits of armor, right? But in the comics, apparently, if she takes off the bracers, they hold her back. Like, they are to limit her so she can, move about in this mortal realm, no problem. But she can ascend to, like, almost a godhood.
Right. That was made a thing in the New 52. Okay, so, like, back in the 90s when the amalgam was made, that wasn't even a thing.
Okay. Yeah. Cool. Yeah. So now it's like, oh, excuse me real quick as I go to my final form.
Basically.
But interesting comment. So there is the closest thing to the answer.
Yeah, that's all I got.
And here's another fun one. I'll move on to a different question after this one. But why do the Avengers need Hawkeye?
Damn!
someone typed that in.
That's rough. This reminds me of a time I was reading. I was actually reading the Ultimate. So it wasn't the main 616 universe, but it was back in the Ultimate universe, where I think technically they weren't even called the Avengers; they were called the Ultimates. And I think it was in this comic where they were getting ready for like a big battle, a big war. And Hawkeye, this was a long time ago, so forgive me for my foggy memory.
Okay.
But Hawkeye was speaking to somebody who was really nervous about the upcoming battle and was really self-conscious. And Hawkeye said something to the effect of, I remember my first time on the team and I stood next to a god, referring to Thor, and then I think he also mentioned like the Hulk, and then he mentioned like some other really heavy hitters.
Right.
And he goes, like, what am I doing here? Like, what's my spot here on this team? But then he said something inspiring to the point where, like, but I had my shot, and my shot made a difference.
True.
I mean, so like, why do they need Hawkeye? I mean, well, shit. Why do they need War Machine if they have Iron Man?
Yeah.
Why do you need either of them if you have Vision?
Yeah. Okay.
I think it just comes down to like the point of is like the numbers game. You want to have more numbers. What are your thoughts on that?
Honestly, at my point, it's more like a why not? If you had to have another person on the team, why not have it be a badass human who is an expert marksman? Because it's not like he's an average human, people. No, he's a well-trained human specimen who's a total badass with an outdated bit of warfare technology. And he uses that in a new, cool-ass way. He says, oh, let me not shoot arrows like our ancestors. Let me shoot explosive arrows and bola arrows and all kinds of cool shit. So you gotta give it to him. Come on.
Right.
Jeremy deserves more than that. Come on.
He does. He does. I think if Hawkeye had been played by a less charismatic actor, then he would be a dud, but I think he has such a huge fan following now because of Jeremy Renner.
Oh, yeah. Well, he was definitely able to breathe some of that actual Clint Barton life into what we needed here.
Right.
Yeah, unlike
it wasn't in Thor or in Avengers 1. It was really in
Avengers 2.
Avengers 2 where he started to shine. Yeah.
And thank goodness.
Oh, yeah. He was my favorite part of Avengers 2.
Oh, yeah. Agreed.
Any other questions on that?
Yeah, actually, I was about to move on, but I found one more, and I had to go back to it, and it's worth talking about. What do you think this is when they ask, what do the Avengers think of you quiz? Like, there's an actual quiz that people can take to learn the Avengers' opinion of themselves, them being the quiz taker, the individual. Like, that's apparently a thing. That's a number of things on the Google search. So I'm going to...
What did the Avengers think of you?
Yeah.
I think the people who asked that question on Google maybe need to... I dare say and this pains me to say, but I think they may need to put down their comic books and actually go outside for a little bit and talk to actual people.
Oh, okay.
It's just like one of those quizzes or something. What is it?
Yeah, that's all it is. Okay, so it's literally one of those cutesy little bullshit quizzes that are posted all through Facebook, like, what's your spirit animal? Or what's your favorite color? Or can we figure it out? You know, all that bullshit, yeah. It's a cute idea, sure, but the Avengers don't give a shit whether or not you take the quiz.
Yeah, they don't.
Yeah.
I don't see them caring at all about that.
Alright, so let's go to another one. Here's a big one that's actually coming up a lot. Will Iron Man die?
Oh.
Yeah. And that is laced in a different wording throughout the list. Like, will Iron Man die? Will Iron Man die in Avengers 4? Will Iron Man die in Avengers Infinity War? I kind of did not mean for that to rhyme, but it did.
Yeah. I guess, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, what do you think?
Yes. But in more detailed answer, I mean, it wouldn't be expected for him to die. No, I'm not going to drop that full-blown vote into that. But I will say that if he does die, it wouldn't be total surprise for me, you know? And it wouldn't be the most unfitting thing to happen. Like, if it did happen, I wouldn't fight it that much. Like, okay. You know? Now, whether or not he leaves the franchise by having his character die, that person, of course, being Robert Downey Jr., or some other means, that's cool. I just want his leaving to be, you know, well done and organic, not something awkwardly forced upon us, like a really piss-poor death. You know? So if he does die, in other words, I want it to be something grabbable, something that's actually like, oh, okay, this was well told, thus I can more easily accept this than, oh, by the way, Band-Aid rip, he's gone. Yeah. How about you?
You know, one common theme amongst these Infinity War trailers is that Tony Stark has been front and center for the trailers. I mean, and that can lead us to believe that he gets a lot of screen time. I don't know if that's a fact or not. But as far as him dying goes, I think that it's possible that he dies. And, you know, the thing that's really tricky is that we don't really know the premise for Avengers 4.
Right.
I mean, right now, I think that we're all just assuming that this is going to be a continuation of Avengers 3, Infinity War. But we don't know for a fact.
No, we could move on quickly from Thanos to the Magus.
They haven't even introduced Adam Warlock yet.
Hey, it's not the most impossible thing.
I mean,
you know.
I guess. I hope they don't go that route, because that would be super rushed and forced.
Oh, no, it'd be super rushed. Like, oh, shit, you just took a villain from the past 10 years and one and done'd him, you know. You wine and dined him. Yeah.
I will say this, though.
What's up?
One of my fears for Infinity War, and I hope they don't pull this bullshit, but I'm afraid that they may go the route where they have so many people die in this movie, and then have Doctor Strange or someone use the Eye of Agamotto to just reverse it.
No, don't lowball yourselves, Marvel. Come on.
Yeah, I mean that's such bullshit.
If you're gonna be brave enough to give us a death to end one of the characters of all, then just let it happen. Don't retract your good ideas because you're scared of audience reactions or some bullshit. No, tell your damn story. I'm getting into rant mode. Maybe we should move on. I don't need to get in rant mode. Yeah.
But I guess to answer the question, I don't know.
Yeah, no, me neither. You know? Definitely. So
Iron Man could die.
I am curious. Actually,
possible.
Look up. No, damn it. Don't do. No, what the fuck? Okay, screw it. I'm curious. Okay, yeah, never mind. It just comes up with a load of bullshit. I actually typed in enter for the whole "Will Iron Man die?" question on Google just to see what the first few things were to pop up, just in case there was like some in like one or first second place search result that said yes, just flat out yes. Like, some website just declares it right then and there before anyone else. Yes. But no, there wasn't. It was just a whole bunch of speculation.
Yeah.
All right.
This got me thinking, and I don't know if this is even true or not, so I didn't bother to include it in the comic news, but the screenings have already begun for Infinity War, like the select screenings.
Oh, okay. Where at?
Well, that's the thing. Even the actors haven't seen the complete film, apparently.
Really?
Yeah, like different groupings have seen different portions of the film.
Where do they do these at? Can we not join in on these? I mean, I know that other countries get to see certain movies before the United States does. And that's cool.
Well, this isn't one of those things.
No?
No.
Oh, okay.
No,
this is actual, like, pre-screening,
right?
Like, testing, essentially.
Something like that,
Okay.
Yeah, like other countries get to see the movie like a day, maybe two ahead of us. Most times just a day.
Right, okay. Interesting. It would be a fun trip, actually, just to rant on a different subject for almost a minute. Yeah. Bear with me here. Mm-hmm. It would be really fun, actually, for the superhero homies, for you and I to do a fun little trip to another English-speaking, thus English movies, foreign country, to watch a superhero movie a day early in one of their theaters. That could be fun to me. I'm just saying. I'm throwing it out there.
Yep.
Yeah.
You heard them, guys. As soon as you guys can donate money for us to go to another country to watch a movie.
One of the countries that gets the movie a day early. Just saying. I mean, that'd be some cool shit. All right. I'm wishing over here.
Yep.
I'm allowed to do that.
Yep.
All right, so let's move on out of the Marvel realm and go to some DC stuffs. Batman's got a few fun ones. You want to hear some of those?
Yeah, let's hear them.
Why does Batman hate Superman?
That's a fun one.
That is, yeah.
Well, that's the thing. Batman doesn't actually hate Superman.
Okay.
They're actually, there's a lot of mutual respect there between those two. And in the comics, they're actually best friends. Batman would never admit that out loud.
Yeah.
But they are. I think that if we're talking about in the terms of Batman versus Superman, then Batman has this hatred for Superman, so it seems, and that's because Superman is presumably the cause of a lot of the destruction in Man of Steel, and Batman's thinking is, we have this threat here. He may not seem a threat now, but what if he decides to be a threat? And what can stop him? Who can stop him? And so Batman's looking at this from like a point of view of twisted justice. Twisted because he's lost to Robin and now he's gone off hinges.
Right.
And, justice because he doesn't want innocent people to die continuously. So the way he looks at it, someone has to bring down the Superman. But yeah.
Okay. Follow that up, if you would, please, with why does Batman want to kill Superman? Someone is really convinced that Batman is just gun-ho against ending some Kryptonian man.
Yeah, once again, I can only think that you're referring to the movies. If you're referring to the comics, then it had to be the Injustice storyline. But as far as Batman versus Superman goes, it's kind of like the same thing. The reason he wants to kill Superman is because he doesn't want Superman killing a bunch of innocent people. Yeah. Because the Superman snaps, for example, like the nightmare that Batman had. When he is in a desert with a giant apocalypse symbol in the middle of it, and the parademons are coming down, and Superman comes down, and Superman is like this evil, seemingly dictator-like person. That's what Batman doesn't want to happen, but could very well happen.
All it takes is one bad day.
All this is one bad day, yeah. Okay.
So here's two questions. I'm going to ask them back to back like I did those, okay? So, number 3, why does Batman kill? And then number 4 is, why does Batman not kill? So please, Quentin, clarify. Please answer these confused souls, as well as this confused soul right here and now. Why does Batman kill, and why does he not kill?
You asked me to answer a contradicting question.
Exactly. That's the fun of it because
Yes.
that was typed. People searched this.
Oh shit.
Okay, so
well,
yeah,
once again, I'm assuming that we're referring to the movies here. So the thing about Batman vs Superman is that he does have a pretty decent kill count. However, all of his kills are indirect. He doesn't straight up kill anybody. He maims a lot of people, but Batman always does that. Here's the thing. I think even in the Dark Knight trilogy podcast, I mentioned this, but Batman is killed in every single one of his movies.
that's true. Actually, I went ahead and pressed enter on that one to see if anything from the comics would pop up, and no, the only thing was BVS.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Batman is killed in all of his movies, but I guess it's most noticeable in BVS. And this goes back to the point where Batman is unhinged. We're living in a universe here where he has lost a Robin, and in this universe, he hasn't gotten over that loss. And you know, with that being said, even in the comics, once he lost Jason Todd, Batman was a little bit unhinged. I don't think he ever got to the point where he killed anyone, but his brutality was off the charts, and his restraint was also a lot lessened. So here in this movie, we're watching a universe where Batman has lost someone extremely close to him, probably due to excessive violence, and now Batman, he feels like I'm done fucking around. There is no more being nice. There is no more, caring for the well-being, so to speak. So Batman is doing whatever he feels he has to do to stop the criminal, even if that means doing something that will cause their indirect death.
There you go.
And
real quick, just give us a rundown of
why
Batman's permanent philosophy.
Yeah. So the second question, why doesn't he kill?
Exactly, the contradicting part.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, he feels like in Under the Red Hood, whether you read the graphic novel or watch the movie, I advise you do both. One thing that he says to Jason Todd is he doesn't do it because it's too damn easy. Because once you go down that road, then there's essentially, he feels like there'll be no turning back. Once you begin to murder people, to kill them, that's who you become. That's what you are now. He goes, that's what separates us from them.
There is actually a famous phrase too, and I say famous, but it's becoming more and more famous as it circles the internet, I'm sure. I can't remember where they took this from. I'm pretty sure it was a Batman meme. I can't remember, but it was something along the lines of, if you kill a killer, a number of killers in the world remains the same, Yeah.
I think that's just a meme. I don't think Batman ever said that.
No? Okay. I was wondering if they derived that for the meme from a comic or something. I don't remember.
You know how like a lot of these memes, they're supposed to be, they're like these pseudo inspirational quotes with the picture of somebody. Right. That has never said that before.
Abe Lincoln said something, but then you Google search and it was really, freaking Einstein or something, that's the best case scenario.
Yeah.
But still.
But in a lot of cases, you see like a picture of a celebrity and then you see like this fake ass inspirational quote that celebrity has actually never said.
Right, yeah.
These things are all over social media. And I think that, that Batman meme is just a result of one of those.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
No, I don't remember. I don't know, but the philosophy ties in nonetheless to Batman's mentality here. Unless you kill a lot of killers, that's the loophole in the phrase.
Yeah,
that's why Batman probably never says it. But yeah,
right.
Cool. Actually, I got a few good ones here for our boy Clark Kent. Now, actually, will Superman and Wonder Woman last?
Seeing as how the new 52 is over, no. That relationship, was primarily in the new 52, but now that we're in DC Rebirth, I think that, because our mainstream Superman was largely presumed dead, last that I read. Forgive me, guys, because I am behind, because I don't read comics. I read the trade paperbacks and the graphic novels, so I'm always behind. But last I read was that Superman from the universe before the New 52, he's alive and well with Lois Lane. That's how they have Superboy.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
So last I checked, he's definitely with Lois. He's not even with Wonder Woman.
will Superman and Supergirl meet? That's probably a shout out to the CW Supergirl. I don't know. Yeah.
I mean, if it is a shout out to that show, then I guess they already have the answer. I mean, Superman's on the show, so
okay.
Yep.
In that case, let's tie that one up real quick to a slew of questions which are very relatable. Will Batman and Superman, throwing in our boy Bruce again, will they be in Legends of Tomorrow, the CW TV show?
Well, boy, howdy, that'd be great, but
I know, right?
Then you'd have a problem of your guest stars being bigger stars than your main stars.
Or even, I do dare say, better heroes than your people, yeah.
Yeah.
Same question goes in repeat for Suicide Squad, and one more time for Arrow.
Will Batman and Superman be in Suicide Squad and
I know,
Arrow?
right? Like, will two heroes be in the squadron primarily and only made of villains? Will they be in that? Please, can someone... Unless they're asking that from the mind frame, may I, be open-minded here. Will they be in the movie rather than the team itself? Which would make a much more appealing question, yeah.
Well, they didn't ask if they were going to be on the team, though, did they?
Well, it doesn't phrase either or, so I'm reading into the question at this point.
I just assumed they meant in the movie.
Right. Yeah. Which either A, that's an old question, or B, assuming that they're talking about Suicide Squad 2. Okay, we could talk. I mean, I'm pretty sure Batman might appear in that one,
Yeah.
I can see it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's still speculation.
Yeah, I mean, we don't even know anything about Suicide Squad 2 at this point, Yeah. Don't know anything. Yep. What else we got?
Let's see what's here. And we have a few silly ones. Will Batman and Superman team up?
What?
Yeah, no, like I said, a few silly ones. Like, will Batman and Superman team up? And it's like, well, yes.
Yep.
Yes. Justice League. Will Batman and Superman fight? Already, yes. But let's do this a different way, man.
Yeah, let's. Who else we got?
Well, actually, I was going to open the floor to you, my friend. What's one you want to type into the almighty Google? Just an intro, that is, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Let's do. You know what? Why not? Let's just hop back into Marvel for a second.
Okay.
Why does Vision?
Okay. You gotta be more specific because it's asking actual Vision. Like, why does Vision get worse?
Well, Kevin, didn't I tell you that I'm a ophthalmologist?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
Well, you see, your cornea is actually detached from the retina at times, and then when that happens, there's I can't even pretend.
You mean my Capricornia, right? That's what you were saying? Yeah.
Yep.
That's
replace villain Vision with Scarlet Witch.
Okay. All right. I'm curious. Oh wow. Okay. Well then, I've never noticed this. I gotta go back and watch the movies now. Huh. Why does Scarlet Witch lose her accent? Because Avengers 2, she did have an accent.
Did she lose it? I don't remember her losing it.
I don't think she had it that prominently, though, in the following movie. I think she just spoke, with less or no accent, honestly. I think she did honestly lose it.
I think I remember her speaking with the accent. Yeah.
We'll have to go back and watch that, because that's a great question, actually.
Yeah. We also have to remember that she just didn't have that many lines in Civil War.
True. No, she really didn't. She played a little bit in the beginning.
Yeah.
And then
I just remember
everything just led up to the fight.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, her biggest speaking lines that I remember is her in the kitchen with Vision, and I remember her saying some words kind of with an accent. So.
Yeah. And then I remember the scene where she and Cap are talking in her leased out bedroom, and Vision just, appears through the wall, and it's like, Vision, you can't be doing that, bruh. You gotta be using them doors. Yeah. And then there aren't too many good ones for her, like, why does Scarlet Witch marry Vision?
I know because that there's this chemical imbalance that happens in people when they really attach to each other. When they're around each other, there's like dopamine and serotonin that's released, and it creates this cool chemical imbalance where they become really engrossed with one another. And then they call this thing called love, right? And then
okay. Thank you,
and then
Dr. Q Love.
Yep, and then this thing causes people to do sometimes dumb shit, but most times, or a lot of times, it works out really well. And that's what happened here with... It didn't work out well. What am I talking about? The marriage was good up until, Vision died, and then Scarlet Witch goes crazy. And that's another story, people.
And eradicates, everything. Okay, but what's another one, man? Yeah.
Let's see. Let's do... I don't know. Let's do something with Daredevil. I'm just looking at a picture of him.
Oh yeah, there he is. There's the picture of Daredevil. Okay, so what lead-in question you want to do there? Why does Devil... okay, there's a few things here. Okay, so one, why does Daredevil lose his hearing? Which, thanks to the Marvel series, that one actually makes a little bit of sense to go into because they spoke very well about it, but they didn't show it.
So his vision?
Hearing. Oh, did I say vision? I apologize. I meant hearing.
No, you said hearing, but
yeah. Wait. What? Oh shit! I just realized what I'm saying.
Yeah,
no.
You're confusing the hell out of me.
Yeah, I'm confusing me now too. No, why does Daredevil lose his hearing? He doesn't, people. That's his good shit.
I was like, what are we talking about right now? But then you were talking so confidently like you knew. Okay. So I was even more confused.
Yeah, no. Okay, so I was reading that and my brain was filling in saying, why does Daredevil lose his vision? Thinking, okay, that's a more reasonable question. We can dissect that real quick. Sure, let me say this out loud. And then, hearing. So, in response, he doesn't. He doesn't lose his hearing. He keeps his hearing.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure that there's like a comic issue or two where his hearing gets impaired, where his senses become impaired or a little messed up, but I don't think... Well, I know for a fact he never permanently loses it. So, good news for Daredevil, he doesn't actually lose his hearing, thank goodness.
Thank goodness.
He would be the Anne Frank of superheroes.
Gummit, dude. So, rest easy, good listeners. He doesn't lose hearing. But, here's one we can clarify for people out there. Hopefully, a smaller population. Why does Daredevil die in Defenders?
Oh.
I am.
Well, I mean, I guess if you stick around, you see that he doesn't die.
Right, yeah. At that point, you'd have to watch the last episode more intently. Yeah. And make sure you don't miss the part where it shows.
Yeah. I mean, because it's not like he's hidden or anything. Like, you see him laid up in like a nunnery in a hospital bed.
Right, yeah. Leading into something to do with his mother in the future. Right.
Yeah, we're assuming because his mother is a nun, at least in the comics. So that's where we're assuming we're going with this for Daredevil.
And one more question here, and actually this is a good one for Daredevil. Why does Daredevil dress like a devil?
Yeah. It's from his dad. His dad was a boxer battling Jack Murdoch. And, they said that when he fought like the devil. And so, his dad played a really big and influential part in Matt's life, obviously. He knew that his dad did some shady shit, but he also knew that his dad loved him very much. And so, and also, just the fact that there's this blind man, jumping from building to building, beating people's asses, that's pretty ballsy.
Yeah, that's true. So, that's a very daredevilish thing to do.
Yep.
Please forgive me for the pun. Cool, okay. So there's a few good ones there. I'm going to go back to some Infinity War based questions here.
You can do like, why does Thanos or...
Oh, that's a good one, actually. first one that popped up. Why does Thanos look different in Infinity War?
He does, and I've questioned that myself.
Pardon, first two. That is literally both the first and second question. The first being, why does Thanos look different in Infinity War? Second being, why does Thanos look different? Oh shit!
You know, my only.
Why does Thanos change color? Yeah, people are really distraught about this. Man.
People are really upset about Thanos.
Yeah.
My only guess is that you know, with Thanos, when we see him in Avengers 1 and then again at the end of Avengers 2 and then also in Guardians 1, like when we see him in all these scenes, he's not doing a whole lot. So my guess would be like doing the CG work for him was a lot easier, but having him lead and carry a movie like he's going to do in Infinity War, you probably need something that's going to be a little bit more practical and doable.
Right.
And maybe having him in all that armor would be like a giant CG nightmare in making this movie more expensive, maybe even slow down production dates. Who knows?
I can see that. Yeah. And honestly, guys, I'm confident that we'll get something worthwhile. Or let me phrase that better. I'm very hopeful that the movie comes out super well, and I want it to be good. Damn it. The last one of that same nature. Why does Thanos look weird? Someone just flat out just threw judgment and said, "Man, this mother looks weird."
Well, you know, if you go and listen to our Thanos podcast, which we do advise you guys do.
Yep.
If you listen to that podcast, then you hear us describe his loose origin, where Thanos is actually a mutated Titan. So the Titans are already an extraordinary race of people, but Thanos is a mutated Titan, which is why he's so damn ugly and also so damn powerful.
With a ribbed chin, too.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. And then one more for Thanos, and then I have another question in mind. Why does Thanos hate Deadpool? That could be an actual good one.
Yeah. Because Deadpool's getting his woman, Death. Yeah. Deadpool has a thing for Death. Death has a thing for Deadpool.
Because love triangles, people.
Yeah. Yeah, but you know, it's also been rumored that that Deadpool has been cursed with immortality, so he cannot die and be with Death.
Really?
Yeah, from Thanos himself. That Thanos did it.
Okay. I'm typing in just another array of questions now based on the Infinity Gauntlet, thinking that'd be a fun one. One big one, the first one that we can briefly go into. What does the Infinity Gauntlet do? Simple enough, right?
Oh yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Houses the Infinity Gems. Oh, I'm sorry. If we were talking about the movies, it houses the Infinity Stones.
There you go.
Which actually, they were originally called the Soul Gems. Which, you know, they were all 6 of them were just known as the Soul Gems. And then later on, they were called the Infinity Gems. And then they were all given their individual names and titles.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Interesting enough, yeah. Let's go back even steps further. Someone else asked, why does Odin have the Infinity Gauntlet?
Yeah, he had one in his treasure room.
Yeah.
In the movies, at least. That's a good question. But it was a fake, also.
Right. Thanks to Hela, we know that. Yeah. This is a fake. Douche.
Yep. Yeah. Which was a clever route around to get them out of trouble, you know?
Yep. Yeah.
Because originally, like, the rumor goes that originally there were going to be 2 Infinity Gauntlets. You know, supposedly one for Thanos and maybe one for the good guys. I'm so glad that they scrapped that idea.
That would have been basically...
It would have been a race to collect the Infinity Gems.
That, and also, do you remember one of the Fantastic Four movies, where the Human Torch took on the powers of the entire Fantastic Four? Mm-hmm. That's all that would have been to me in the ending.
How so?
Because it's like, oh, well, hey, now we have to take on all the powers we can to have this Ultima fight, and it's... Oh, come on, you know? Mm-hmm. And though they would have done so by different means and different ways, it still equated to, like, the same storytelling method. Thus, In my mind, at least. But I digress. Maybe I just pissed off a fan who really liked that movie. Who knows? Hopefully not. But, yeah. You got any other good questions or anything, man? Because Infinity Gauntlet's coming up kind of shy, actually.
Like,
there's not many, not many curiosities about the glove. Yeah.
Well, I was going to say type in this question, but, fuck it, let's go ahead and ask the question.
What's that?
Kevin, where's the Soul Stone?
Google doesn't know either. It literally types up, I don't know. No, I'm joking.
What do you think it is?
Okay, if I had to speculate, get ready. Okay. A, the simplest, easy ride around or, guess that I could make right now would be that it is at a different new party location that we haven't been exposed to yet. Thus, a place that either Thanos or someone else could travel to get the stone, thus finally bringing it onto the big screen for the first time ever. Something like that. Or it is somewhere here on Earth, and we just haven't uncovered it yet. Because in our adventures, even though they've been world-ending adventures, they've never been world-covering adventures. We've never covered every place in the movies altogether, we've covered the hell out of New York City, don't get me wrong, but then every other place is like, oh, okay, we haven't hit up everything. So there could still be a hiding place here on Earth, as unlikely as that does sound. So, really, my speculations are shit, and I don't have much. Because I'm guessing no-name planet we haven't heard about yet, or somewhere on Earth we just haven't looked under the right rock. Other than that, I don't think the Kree have it. I'm trying to think who else would actually be even considered for the race for the Soul Stone. But I'm coming up short, man. What about you?
Well, from watching the trailers, there's a few things that we know.
Okay.
We know from the first trailer when he comes down, he has the time gem. Oh no, I'm sorry, the space gem and the power gem.
Okay.
And in the second trailer, we see him with the soul gem in there too.
Okay. So in other words, he did somehow get it
on Earth. It had to have been on Earth. Yeah.
Okay.
Unless he comes to Earth, leaves again, and comes back,
which would be weird.
Yeah, I don't think he'd do. Yeah. Even though he does have a space gem.
Or he comes to Earth and then someone else from the Black Order brings it to him.
Yeah. That's a possibility.
That's just me trying to speculate even wilder.
Yeah. But the fact that when we see Thanos in the trailer with the Soul Gem, he's in Wakanda. I'm still sticking with my theory that goddamn Soul Gem is in Wakanda.
It's somewhere there. Yeah.
I still think it's possible that it has something to do with the heart-shaped herb.
Okay.
I've heard theories that a lot of people think that it's Heimdall's eyes are actually the Soul Gem.
Oh, okay.
His eyes are the correct color for it in the movies, and he can locate every living soul, within Midgard and the other realms.
That's a really good theory, actually. Mm-hmm. And it's not the first time someone's been using the Soul Gem on a single personage, such as Vision or Loki or. Who else now? Right. Doctor Strange.
And then also, to lead more credence to it, now that I think about it, if you remember back to Age of Ultron, he was blind in that vision that Thor had. Heimdall was blinded. His eyes were not the orange; they were glossed over.
Oh shit, dude! That's some good evidence. I feel sorry for Idris, man. Idris Elba. He's gonna be like, all right, so you're going to sit here, and it's going to look like they're punching the shit out of your eyes. But really, they're just harvesting the stone from them. So get ready for that.
So it's a possibility that, they're Heimdall's eyes,
Oh, wow. That's a really good theory, actually. It is. Nice. Okay. Yeah. You heard it here first, folks.
But Yeah, man. Other than that is a hot button question. There's theories that have little to no evidence behind them at all that I roll my eyes at. Like Tony Stark has it.
That's some bullshit.
Yeah. I mean, yeah,
Okay.
it's bullshit.
Yeah, it's bullshit.
Tony Stark does not have the soul gem. No. If he does, then I will be a jackass.
No, even better. Oh shit. Oh shit. I could just imagine it now. Because then Thanos turns around and tells the Black Order, Tony Stark found the soul gem in a cave on a planet called Dirt.
That's a callback to Obadiah Stane in Iron Man 1.
Yes,
one of our favorite quotes from the movie.
It was an amazing quote.
Oh, shit.
That's the only reason I would appreciate that to come true. Because, oh, shit, man.
Yeah.
I miss Obadiah. But, yeah, no, that's a wild one. What's another crazy one real quick? Just for kicks and giggles. Yeah, not to put you on the spot or nothing.
Let's see. Let's do something about old Bucky. He's been getting some love as of lately.
Yeah, let's see what he's up to. Oh, I forgot how to spell Bucky. There it is. Okay. How does Bucky Barnes become Captain America?
Oh.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, that is a good one. Yeah, so essentially, once the Civil War takes place, Captain America, he in the comics, he surrenders, and once he realizes that he himself is a part of a lot of the destruction that's going on now, and then ultimately the people want that kind of control versus what Captain America wants, and then he realizes that was the people want, and that's what they deserve. So Captain America surrenders at the end of the Civil War comic, I guess. 12-year spoiler alert, and he surrenders. And so as he's being taken and about to be put on trial, there is a sniper that takes a shot at one of the officers escorting Steve Rogers. Steve Rogers, he knocks the soldier out of the way and he takes the bullet, thus killing him. And then we go into the whole Death of Captain America arc, which was a really good read altogether.
Do you remember who was firing the shot by chance?
Yeah.
Was that Punisher?
It was Sharon.
Sharon.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Oh, that's some shit.
Yeah, she was brainwashed, but it was Sharon.
Oh, okay. That's right.
But yeah, so after that, Bucky and Falcon, they actually work together, which is pretty funny considering, how their relationship in the movies.
Yeah.
But yeah, Bucky and Falcon, they work together.
I hate you right now.
Yeah, they were together to solve the mystery of Steve's murder because they realized that it was an elaborate setup, and that the Red Skull is actually coming back to life.
Dun, dun, dun.
And then they realized that the world still needs a symbol. And then Bucky, he decides to don the Captain America uniform. He gets his own version of it, and with that cool ass metal armor of his still.
Yeah.
And so he becomes Captain America. And then once Cap is brought back to life, Cap is made like the head of S.H.I.E.L.D. And then Bucky remains Captain America for a while.
Good enough. Cool. Here's a stupid one. I'm just gonna flat out judge it right now. It's stupid. What is Bucky Barnes' zodiac sign?
The shit? What?
Yeah, someone type that in. And no offense, but do we really need to know his zodiac sign? That's why I'm flat out saying, okay, guys, let's tone that one back some.
I guess a bigger question for me is, and I may step on you more toes than you just stepped on, but who the hell believes in zodiac shit and all that?
There are still a few people who do, not giving it credence, because I know I personally don't.
Yeah.
I do choose not to. There are some that really give it way too much power.
Right.
Like, I think I heard this in a TV show for the first time the other day, where someone said someone was a triple Scorpio. What the shit does that mean? How can?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I don't understand that because I'm a double Leo with a whip topping of frickin' what's another one? Artemis.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
I made that up.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that's not one.
You know, it's kind of like people read their horoscopes and then they're like, doesn't that describe the situation I was telling you about? And then they give it credence and they think that it means something because they read their horoscope and then it applies to them. And I'm like, people, you just yourself describe cognitive dissonance. Like, that is when you ignore all other evidence that disproves your claim, and then now you see evidence that supports your claim in this one case here.
Right.
You're ignoring all the other days of the year where your horoscope had nothing to do with your life, but on this one day and this one occasion, now it has credence. So yeah.
Or in other cases, because that's actually really true. I've also heard it being said before. It's like the psychic theory. You know how certain professional psychics will get out there and they'll go to like an audience, and the trick is start general and then go in. I'm pretty sure a lot of it starts off the same way, where you have like this real general synopsis, this idea of you will start today off as a day, and then it's like, okay, yeah, I believe that today's going to be a day. Okay. You know, kind of like, hey, is there someone in the audience
it was like
whose birthday is in June?
Or it's like someone here has lost somebody, haven't they? And then people will start knocking, oh, yes, you lost someone. They were really close to you, weren't they? Yeah,
exactly.
Oh, yeah, they were.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh my God! And the name it has what is it? Is it 2 syllables? 3 syllables. That's correct. What's that name start with? And so was it Sophia? Yes. Oh my gosh! How'd you know? Like, it's funny watching those things from the outside looking in,
right?
Because it's like a lot of times people just want something,
right?
You know?
And that's cool. And if it gives you peace of mind and heart, then dadgummit, you go be. Yeah, you do what you do. You know, we all got to do something. Damn it.
Yeah, you do what makes you happy.
In the meantime, we're gonna keep podcasting and not doing that.
Yeah. But yeah, and so we say all that just to say that no one gives a damn about Bucky's zodiac sign.
That's how we got started on that. Thank you. Because it was, I'm reading the questions and a lot of them are really good. Like, how is Bucky Barnes alive? What's his arm made of? What are his powers? Because we got to clarify that one too, definitely. But then it's like, what is his zodiac? How tall is Bucky? How strong is Bucky? I'm pretty sure at this point. What? How tall and strong he is?
How strong he is. Yeah,
okay, sure. Well, all right. Yeah, go for it.
I mean, the truth is, I don't know. I don't know the capacity of that arm. You know,
we've never worked out with him, so we don't know. Yeah. We'd have to see what he's up to.
Yep.
Do curls, but don't cheat. Don't use the good arm. Use the human arm. Okay.
Oh man, as far as how strong actual Bucky is, I mean, he's strong. He's not Captain America strong. With the arm he is, for sure. Stronger probably.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Okay. But yeah, no, let's how about the powers one real quick before we run out of time or anything?
What are his powers?
Yeah. Because someone did ask that, and that is a good thing to clarify.
Yeah, it is a good I guess it is a good question. He doesn't actually have any powers.
Right. It's another one of those cases where he's super well trained.
Yep.
And even manipulated, but that's a whole other thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he was really well trained even before the General Luke and Karpov got a hold of him and all that. And they just kind of brainwashed and made him an assassin, a well trained assassin. Gave him a cool metal arm.
Yep,
titanium, I believe. Yeah.
In the movie, they made it vibranium, didn't they? I can't remember.
I don't think so. Okay.
No, he's about to get one.
Yeah, he's about to get one.
Which is gonna be so kick-ass.
Right. Because at least before Black Panther, they believed that the last bit of vibranium was used to make Captain America's shield.
Which, now it's like, what?
Oh yeah. What else we got? What else can we do here?
Let's move on to something else. Any more last big subjects here?
We just mentioned Black Panther a little bit. Let's see what.
Yeah, sure. Let's do that. Yeah.
What does Google have about old Black Panther?
Oh, shit. Second question. I'm going to ask this one just to quickly rip the Band-Aid off. Someone actually typed in, why does Black Panther matter? What the shit? Wow. Someone must have been super, like, pissed off or salty or however you want to say it. I mean,
I guess so.
I'm trying to think about this through a more just open-minded sense. Maybe they were just wondering why we needed another superhero, or I mean, I really can't find a way to justify the question, though.
Yeah, no, that's a pretty fucked up question.
It kind of is. Yeah. I mean, why does Iron Man matter? Right. Why does Cap matter?
Yeah, at this point, it's the same question as why would any of these superheroes matter?
Yeah.
Why would any of them matter?
But without sounding too pissed off. Well, one, because he's a badass superhero. Two, he actually makes a stance. You know, he actually does good shit for his people. He actually does good shit for the Avengers. And he's, overall a great hero. And...
Right.
I mean, what else do you need to matter? At this point, it's almost...
Yeah, you gotta think, like, in the 60s, Stan Lee and Jack Kirby created a black superhero that was more wealthy than any other superhero, and that was arguably more intelligent, that had more resources, that had more technology, a more lavish land than any other superhero or any other people. And you can imagine the 60s... And even today, that's a really big thing because Black Panther, he's not stereotyped in that sense. He's a really cool and really special and unique character. And I don't know, like I guess to ask why does he matter? I feel like because that's just a really odd, open-ended question.
It really is, yeah.
And even the movie, I'm so glad it got Ryan Coogler to direct it because he was able to really take the concept of Black Panther and really make this movie mean something for this day and age, especially with Killmonger and kind of reworking his history. But yeah, that's just a weird question. What?
Okay. I looked up another one because there's a few where it's like, really, guys? Wow, there are some pissed off people about Black Panther. Another one, for instance, why does Black Panther have a low IMDb rating?
He doesn't. Move on.
No, I actually looked it up, and currently it's a 7.7 out of 10. Yeah. Which honestly, it could be higher in my opinion, definitely. But, I mean, I wouldn't call that low. Not by any means. And then I actually pressed enter on it just out of curiosity. Apparently there was a time when it was cute to internet troll sabotaging the whole score or something. And there's some shit about that for a while. But whatever. Why does Black Panther have powers in Civil War?
No, we asked that question.
We did. Yeah. We actually did.
Yeah, because I remember specifically asking. So he's partaking of the heart-shaped herb at this point, right? Because he has superpower. So it seems. But no, I guess the answer is that he doesn't have superpowers in Civil War.
Right.
I think he's just a really well-trained human. I mean, because if you think about it, he's right on par with Bucky, in Civil War. So I think that would make a lot of sense to say that he actually doesn't have superpowers, but he's just a really well-trained warrior prince
with a vibranium suit.
But he fought Bucky at one point without the suit. So
also yes. And then let's get into some funny ones. Why does Black Panther have an accent?
You see, because he was actually dropped as a baby, and he developed. He's actually from France. This is what people don't know. Yeah, Wakanda is actually a province in France. So
this reminds me, actually,
I just made that up.
I'm glad. Thank you. Thank you for clarifying. Did you see the SNL skit recently where Chadwick went on?
Oh, I did not.
No, it was hilarious, dude. Because he's playing as his character again with the accents and everything, and they're talking about well, it was white people bringing. They were playing Jeopardy, right?
Yeah.
And so he's like, "I will take white people for 400. You have a friend named Karen who wants to come to your barbecue and bring her potato salad to your barbecue." And they just had this huge, great thing making fun of like a general population that doesn't really season the potato salad. There's no paprika, some random ass shit in there like raisins or something. And it was hilarious, dude. Yeah.
Oh, that's pretty good. I'm gonna have to watch that later.
Yeah, it's worth it.
Yeah. I guess let's just do 1 or 2 more before we close up.
Okay. Let's see here. Let's go back to Hulk because they kind of left that one weird from the end of Ragnarok. That's interesting. How will Hulk die? Apparently, he's on the roster too in someone's mind to pass away here.
I guess so. I was thinking in the concept or in the sense of the comics, maybe they're talking about that, but in the comics he just came back to life, so they're not talking about that.
Okay, here's another good one actually. Will Hulk ever be Banner again? Yeah. Because if you remember from Ragnarok, I'm going to defend this question real quick. He talked about in that movie that Banner was saying, if I turn Hulk again, I'm never gonna be able to turn back. Like, he said that shit in the movie.
He said, I may never be able to turn back.
Okay.
May is a really subjective word.
May is subjective as hell, sure. Yes, I agree there. But it's like, okay, why are you gonna try to set us up like this if you know you're just gonna take it back later? It's like the Iron Man suits thing again. The end of Iron Man 3, blow up the suits, whoopie-doo-doo-dah, you're still Iron Man at the beginning of the next movie. Literally with no explanation. So at this point, I'm agreeing with the question here. Will Hulk ever be Banner again?
I think the answer is an obvious yes. Because at the end of Ragnarok, he's Hulk.
Right.
In the trailer, we see Bruce Banner for Infinity War, so yeah.
So in other words, we're allowed to slander Ragnarok even more now. Yes.
No, because we don't know the circumstances.
Okay. You're right. Maybe at this point I'd have to go back and watch Ragnarok and get the whole scene again before I can be prejudiced and just unload my clips into this.
Yeah, you gotta understand, like, I'm all for bashing the movie, but only when it's done, thinking logically and all that. You can't just bash it without having our
Okay. Well, even though I do have logic on my side here, I do need more evidence. Agreed. Yeah. Correct. Thank you. But I still didn't like Ragnarok. I don't even care no more. I just didn't. But it was a fun movie.
It was a fun movie. Yeah.
All right. Anyways, guys, I'm sorry. We'll move on here. Will Hulk talk in Infinity War?
I hope so.
Yeah, I hope so too, actually. That'd be a very cool development.
All right. I think that it was a really good decision in Ragnarok to have him talk. Mm-hmm. It's just unfortunate that the director wanted to make a comedy film. Mm-hmm. I think this time around that the Russos can give the Hulk more Hulk-like dialogue. So,
yeah, definitely.
I certainly hope so.
Yeah. And then there's a few more talking about will Hulk die in Avengers Infinity War, just a few more people speculating there.
Yeah. I don't know. I always think back to that one scene at the beginning of Age of Ultron where Tony Stark is seeing this vision induced by Scarlet Witch, and he sees all the Avengers laying dead. There's Thor, and then there's Cap with his broken shield, and then there's Hulk that's laying dead. And in the Age of Ultron podcast, I asked the question, Like, was this something that could have been had he not succeeded with the missile blown up the Chitauri, or is it something that's going to come in the sense of Thanos coming? And the answer was we weren't sure.
Right.
So, I mean, like, if that vision in Age of Ultron is something that's going to come, then I think it's very possible that a lot of our major lineup could die. So,
yeah. I agree. Well, at least then it would force us to kind of open new doorways and to kind of spread our wings a little bit.
Right. I mean, I think this would be a good cleansing palette to bring, or to, bring to the forefront, Doctor Strange and Spider-Man and Black Panther and Captain Marvel. I mean, hell.
Yeah.
I think that'd be a good move to make.
Yeah.
So.
Actually, speaking of good moves, one more question about our boy Hulk here. Will Hulk get another movie? I certainly hope so.
I hope so. I don't think he's going to get a solo movie.
Unfortunately, I think that's the premise of the question.
Oh.
I would like a solo movie.
Yeah,
I'd like
would.
another movie in particular as well. You know, but yeah.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to get another solo movie, unfortunately. Just because the whole deal with Universal, they're not going to let it with those rights. Was it Universal Legendary? I think it's Universal. Yeah.
Sure. I don't remember. But we asked some questions about our boy Iron Man, Cap. We asked questions about Bucky, Hulk.
Yeah.
Did we do Thor?
Nope.
No.
We didn't do Thor.
Okay. Let's do a few more Thor. Will Thor Ragnarok be on Netflix? Most probably.
Yeah, most likely. I think that Marvel's trying to release all the movies on Netflix when they can.
Yeah.
They've done that since Civil War. So
Yeah. I was about to say, only one... I know Homecoming's not on there yet.
No, it's not. No,
Yeah,
nope.
yeah.
Neither is Ragnarok's not on there either. But Civil War, Doctor Strange, and Guardians are all on. Oh no, yeah, they're all on there. So.
Excuse me.
Ah.
Will Thor get another hammer?
Yeah, he's getting Stormbreaker.
Yeah.
So yep.
There you go. Easy peasy, right?
Easy peasy.
There you go. This is a fun one. Will Thor be in God of War?
I was actually wondering that myself.
Seriously. Okay, so God of War 5 coming out soon changes the whole line of gods that they
It's just
use.
called God of War, though.
Oh, excuse me. I've been calling it God of War 5 in my conversations, but yes, God of War. Yeah, they're using the Nordic line of gods now. So Loki, Thor, Odin, all of them, and it's we could see our boy Kratos killing some Thor.
Yeah, we could. It's extremely possible.
Yeah.
My thought was that because I did think about that myself. Probably not until the sequel would be my thought.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay. Interesting. All right.
I think that he has a more streamlined focus and purpose this time through.
And the developers of God of War have guaranteed us that this isn't the end. Like, there's going to be another God of War. Yeah. Which is super cool.
Oh, yeah.
I just hope it doesn't take near as long to make. Will Thor regain his eye?
I doubt it.
Yeah, same here.
I think this is permanently gone.
Yep.
And, we'll definitely get into this next week. By the way, next week we're going to do Black Panther and Civil War. And Ragnarok.
Oh, that's this Wednesday.
This Wednesday, not next Sunday.
Yeah.
Ignore me, people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're going to bundle those because we've already made separate podcasts for them as those movies have recently come out. So.
Right, yeah. That's going to be like a wrapping up of the MCU thus far. Mm-hmm. So yeah, we're gonna talk a little bit about Black Panther, talk a little bit about Ragnarok, and then talk a little bit about the MCU as a whole up until this point.
Yep.
So, but yeah, were there any other questions on there about Thor?
Well, it's been a reoccurring theme of a question, but will Thor die in Infinity War? Everyone's curious, man. Who's on that death roster?
I know, everyone wants to... Yeah.
Whose obituary are we going to be reading about, Yeah.
Probably several.
Everybody's going to die calling it... No, I'm joking. But,
I don't know, man. I don't know, man. It's possible. If I can be so honest, guys, I'm a little worried about Infinity War, and I'll mention this more next Sunday when we do our Infinity War preview podcast. But I'm a little worried about Infinity War just because it seems a little bloated right now. There's a lot of people, a lot of moving pieces, and a lot of story to tell. And I mean, I think it's going to be like 2 hours and 40 minutes. That's not a lot of time to get all that out there. But I mean, like, I feel like for more than one or two characters to die, well, one or two main characters to die, I feel like if any more than that die, then there's not going to be enough space in the film for those effects to fully be felt.
Right, yeah. We don't need a slaughter, in other words. We only need...
Well, you got to make it mean something. Like,
exactly.
You can kill 5 people and then people will be pissed because it was a meaningless death. Or you can just kill 1 or 2 and really make it special, really make us feel something.
Yep.
But, you know...
Yeah. No, I wholeheartly agree with that.
And you know, I do have more faith in the Russos than that. I don't think that they're incompetent by any nature.
Yeah. Notice they got the directors of some of their more successful movies to come back and get this one. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm. But no, all right. Were there any others you wanted to get into, or are we feeling that? I was about to say.
Yeah, I think we're just going to wrap it up. It's midnight here now.
It is midnight. We got started late today, people. Yeah. You might be able to hear it in our voices, maybe. But yeah, that was live Google questioning.
Oh, yeah. We'll probably do this again sometime in the future.
Yeah, it was fun.
It was fun. I liked it too, yeah. It'll be a recurring theme, just like the Who Would Win podcast. We're going to do that one sometime in the future as well. But yeah, guys, before we close up, we do want to go ahead and pitch to you guys our Patreon page again. This is a little bit of a preemptive work here because it is not up yet, but it will be up by the time Infinity War rolls around, which is just in a couple weeks from now. We're going to go ahead and upload at least a couple episodes by that date. So that's something you guys can look forward to. If you want to hear a little bit more of our content, maybe outside the realm of superhero stuff, then that'll definitely be the place for you guys. You know, it'll be on other movies besides superhero related movies and other content besides superhero related content. So it'll be a lot of fun. It'll be a little bit more loose format, but it'll definitely be worth your patronage, guys, for sure.
Yeah,
but anything else you want to say before we close it up?
Well, nothing much. I always enjoy making the podcast episodes. I always enjoy talking about these subjects here, not only on air, but also off of air with friends and family and fans alike. So please, for sure, if you know anyone else out there who would love to join in on the banter, add their opinion to the mix of all that we get here, then please let them join us on board. Tell a friend about us and spread the love. Let us all fan out together.
Hell yeah. Let's let the homieverse grow, guys.
Indeed.
All you homies keep us alive and keep us afloat. So as always, guys, if you have any kind of questions, comments, gift threats, food supplies, or Google questions, hit us up at superherohomies@gmail.com or the Facebook page Superhero Homies. And of course, guys, if you haven't already done so for some strange reason, hit that subscribe button so every time we upload a new episode, you can hear our sexy voices.
Yeah.
And also, if you feel so inclined, please leave us a review on iTunes. That really helps us out a lot. The iTunes gods look down upon us with great joy when they see us with reviews.
Amen to that. And thanks to those who have already reviewed us.
Absolutely.
You're the dudes. You are the peoples.
Yeah. You guys are the real MVPs. Yeah. But as always, guys, we do appreciate everything you guys do for us. Are you guys hitting that download button and listening? You guys really keep us afloat. But we're going to go ahead and close up shop for the evening. This coming Wednesday, once again, we will be reviewing or re-reviewing Black Panther and Thor Ragnarok, and then wrapping up the MCU as a whole up to this point. So it's going to be a little bit more loose format, guys. It's not going to be the... our typical movie review format. And then next Sunday would be our Infinity War preview. And of course, that following Thursday night would be our Infinity War review.
Yeah.
And we'll actually be joined with the homie Caleb again.
Indeed, we will.
Yeah.
It'll be fun to...
It's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, it'll be fun to review a movie with a third mate.
Yeah. But all right, guys, we're going to wrap up shop for the night. And as always, I'm Quentin.
I'm Kevin.
Till next time.